cast, Goober cast, Goober cast. We Goober
Goober
casting.
cast. Goober.
Okay, okay. So what idea did we come up with to talk about? Why are there lockers behind us right now?
Well, you see, the reason we have lockers, uh, let's just say we got wild middle school stories.
Yeah. So the school locker rooms had these like we had these like locker carts and
Mm-hmm.
like you know what I'm talking about, right? You remember the locker carts?
Yeah, but wasn't it where you like shoved in your stuff?
Yeah, so it was these carts and it had like the metal baskets or whatever on them, and you
Yeah,
like
so
put
you
your
could
stuff
shove
in
your.
there and then you locked the carts. So in this cart
No, I
there
don't
were
remember the
these
carts.
in these carts there were these baskets. And in the baskets you would put like your clothes and stuff, and then they would be locked away in the locker room in like this big cage area.
Oh, okay,
And
sorry.
so it's okay. So I was
I'm
talking with
slow.
one of my friends, who I go to school with now, actually. But I was talking with one of my friends, and she was like, "Hey, remember that time when, you know, remember middle school?" I'm like, "Yeah." Sorry, that had zero to do with this story. I don't know why that was relevant, but anyways, um, so basically, I my locker didn't go like my I didn't have a locker. I shared a locker with somebody else, but one of my friends asked me. She's like, "What? Wouldn't it be fun if we just did something funny, stupid?" Well, me and these two girls were in the locker room, and I told them, I'm like, why don't you guys just lock me in the cart cage? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, exactly what I just said. So one of my friends, we're gonna call her. Let's
Kimberly.
call her Mary. Even though that's
We
way
had two
far
different
off.
routes of
Even though
names.
that's way far off from her name. Let's call her Mary, right? So Mary got her locker, like her lock from her locker, and put it on the thing. And then my other friend, let's call her no, let's call her
Skipper.
Christina. We're gonna call her Christina, right? So Christina, uh, it was her, Mary, and me in in the locker room, right? And Mary locked me in there. Well, Christina walks out, and then Mary walks out, and I'm just kind of chilling in there. And then Christina just comes plowing back through the door, and she's like, "Mary, what's your locker combination?" And Mary's like, I don't even remember, to be honest." And we're like, "What do you mean you don't remember?" So basically, what I had to do, because the principal was outside, is why they were freaking out. So basically, what I had to do was I had to get out of the cart thing by climbing over it.
Oh my god.
So I had to climb over it and out. And when I say over, I don't mean like over the front. I meant like I climbed over the side to the next one because there was like two. I climbed to the next one and then exited out that one. I don't know why I did that. It was complicated. But yeah, that's my
You could have
wild
just
story.
went through the front part and not have to like go.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
because those things, from what I remember, were freaking loud.
Yeah, they were really loud. They rattled really bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of anything else because I don't really remember a lot of my middle school years. I just remember the main story that we were going to talk about.
Yeah, that was like the biggest memory in my thing. 'Cause I have loads of gaps in my memory from middle school. One of the
Oh,
big things I do remember
so
is like,
story for everybody at home real quick. Kip and I went to middle school together, so that's
yeah,
just basically what's happening. So,
yeah,
I remember this one time in like this isn't like a big like oh my god story, but I remember this one time in remember when our hold on, remember when our uh PE teacher pronounced LGBTQ wrong? And then you corrected her and everybody just started staring at you.
no, I don't
You
remember
don't
that.
remember that?
No, This is probably one of those things that I blocked out of my memory from
She
trauma.
called
I'm
it
just
like
kidding.
LBTGQ, and you're like, actually, it's LGBTQ. And
But
she's like, thank you for that. And everybody just starts staring at you. And
this one
then
pushed me to the edge for real.
in the same day, I was talking to you, and you were trying to get me to shut up, and I ended up getting you
Oh
in
yeah.
trouble. And that was your first ever ISS thing.
No, it's because you said the F word, dude. You said the F word.
Did I really?
Yeah,
Because I
and
thought it was
the
just because I was talking. Because that's what she said. She said that it was because you, which you weren't, were talking.
no, I'm like looking at you like aggressively going. God, shut up! Stop talking!
I literally
Oh my
said,
god!
I swear to God, I remember me going, but it was me. You know what I mean? Like, I fully remember, like, actually backing you up for that. I'm like, but I said it.
So I remember one thing that happened in middle school that I thought was pretty funny, which was the whole I think the last day of seventh grade, a bunch of the eighth graders, seventh graders, and sixth graders were allowed to like go outside with each other. So I did go outside, and next thing you know, there's a whole like quote unquote religion out in the back, like in the field, over a
Ooh,
spoon, a
I don't
fork, a
remember
little
that because
plastic fork.
I missed the last day of 7th grade.
I know.
There's a story about
So
that too, but I'm not gonna say that
no.
on here.
So there was like a group of eighth graders, seventh graders, and sixth graders all like chanting spoon, spork, 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 spork. All because of the freaking plastic spork in the middle.
Remember when there was that like really that one group of boys that was just like ravioli, ravioli, give me the formioli all the time in the hallway. Do you remember that?
Yeah, wasn't that during sixth grade?
It was I think it was during 6th grade.
Yeah. I
Yeah, cuz
remember
yeah.
so we had a mutual friend, or still do, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really friends with them anymore, but like they also went by the same name I do, so that happened.
Oh,
I
I don't
believe
talk to them
they.
that much anymore.
Okay, well then I guess a former mutual friend of ours,
Yeah.
uh, who also goes by my name, uh, was like, so we had the same like homeroom, I guess I could call it. Yeah, because it's not an advisory, was it? No, it was in the morning of the day. It was in the beginning of the day, wasn't it?
It was Oh, wait, never mind. I can't say that cuz that's going to dox us. It was not that. It was homeroom.
Yeah, I swear it was just called homeroom.
Okay, anyways, continue the story. I'm sorry. I don't know.
Yeah, okay, so we had the same homeroom before I got shoved into my special class as my homeroom.
Special ed kid over here
No,
in
stop.
a slash J way.
Yeah, I have a individual education plan, uh, because
IED for
I'm
short.
shut up. Let me talk in technical terms. Um, so I have one of those, basically just meaning I just need a little more help in certain areas for school, and or uh, I have a learning disability somewhere, which I don't know which is which at this point, but you know it's okay. Um, anyways, so I had to get put in there for whatever reason, and I think it was because I was failing homeroom. I wasn't. No, I wasn't. I wasn't failing homeroom. I think my special teacher just wanted more eyes on me, I guess, to like make sure I'm doing okay. Uh, so I was in the same homeroom, which was in the gym at this time, and former mutual friend like whipped out a thing, like a little like bag of cereal, as in like a
that
little
seems
snack
that
baggie.
adds up, honestly.
Yeah, and like so we went through the little like carts that came out with the food, the breakfast, and they took one of the milks, like as we were like still out there, whipped it back out that cereal thing out of like their pocket, and then just dumped the milk in there
Oh,
and started drinking it.
oh, oh.
And I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing? Why are you
That
doing
was my
this?
best friend, guys.
Yeah.
Oh my god, wait, hold on. Memories just came flooding back to me in like 5 seconds while you were explaining
Oh,
all of that. I
yeah,
remember
because
this
I have a
one.
hard time explaining.
Okay, so Kip was the, not to like toot your horn, I guess.
Oh,
Kip was the good kid in school,
yeah, I
and
was.
I was the
Still
bad
am.
kid. Kip was the good kid in middle school, and I was the kid that like hated the teacher, hated authorities, beat people up. I was that kid, you know. I don't know if Kip can vouch for me on that because I don't think Kip ever like saw that side. So,
No,
but
I believe you've threatened to hurt me once. Just once. Singular time.
yes,
No,
because you
wait, there
had
was
this
that
thing.
time.
You had this
I
thing.
stepped on your foot in the
Yeah,
lunchroom.
and your grandma got mad at me.
Yeah, because, okay, so context, my grandma worked in the
His
lunch
grandma was the
ladies.
lunch lady.
Yeah. So I'm like chatting away with her, and freaking Finn's behind me. And I didn't notice that. So I kept walking backwards, which is more fault on my end because I should have went away and kept going. But I stepped on their foot and they call me the B word. They they curse at me. My grandmother stares at them with like the worst look ever, and it's like, oh my god.
I thought I was about to drop dead right there.
Yeah, she has such a stare, and plus her voice. Oh man, like I love my grandma. I love her so much, and I literally so Finn recently came over to my house like a few months ago maybe, uh, and my grandma like still remembers that to this day.
Anyways, as I was saying,
More.
so
Wait.
I was the bad kid in school. Kip was the good kid in school. I don't know why we ever became friends or why we ever hung out cuz we are completely polar opposite. Like
Yeah.
we didn't have anything in common. Um
I think the
so
thing we had in common was that we were just both very stupid
yeah,
and went to the
and
same school at
fruity.
one point.
And fruity.
Oh my god.
Um anyways, so I did these things a lot where I would like do things, but then I had a way of like this sounds really bad and makes me sound like a horrible person, but I was a horrible person in middle school. I'm not like this anymore. But
You're not gonna sugarcoat it.
I had this thing where I could manipulate people really bad. Like
Manipulation.
I knew how to do it really good and to like a not good extent. Um, so the teachers and stuff, I would just like if I got in trouble, I could just start bawling and come up with the most like awful excuse in the book, and they would believe me. And I don't know how, and I don't know why. I ended up getting this like award for like best student or whatever. I'm like, you guys are lying to me right now. What do you mean? But there was this incident between two people, both of their names beginning with the letter S. One of them was a season, one of them was a month.
Oh.
And they uh they blamed me for wiping blood on them. It was pizza sauce. And I didn't even do it. They did it to themselves and then just blamed it on me. So yeah, that was great. And then there was this other teacher. You know what? No, I'm gonna name names because this guy, honestly, was a creep and he deserves it. So hello, if you ever see this, if we ever get big and he sees this, I hope he does. But anyways, there was this one teacher who liked to harass me, and his name was Mr. Henderson, and he liked to harass me all the
Oh my
time.
god, I remember hearing about this guy a lot. Well,
And
didn't he also like do it to like both you and uh number two?
yeah, they go by
That sounds
Kai now,
weird.
by the way.
Okay, Kai.
But anyways, moving on. um, so where was I?
Henderson.
Oh yeah. So they did it to me and my best friend at the time. And he had this granddaughter who who is my ex now, but he had this grandkid, and she basically, like, she backed him up for a lot of things,
Oh my god.
and um, but anyways, uh, he would like just try to get me in trouble for something because I was the bad kid. He always tried to get me in trouble for something. He always followed me around during school. He took my phone one time and I wasn't even doing anything.
Wasn't he also the principal?
He was the dean.
Oh, he was the dean. Okay.
He and then my friend Kai recorded the whole thing on their phone. Well, they took it to the office, and instead of Henderson getting in trouble, Kai got in trouble for recording Henderson without his permission. Yeah. And then my dad said things about it, and Henderson got fired. Long story short. Um, yeah. So
How
that was
long
fun.
did that take?
It took about almost a year. I think it took until this started in 6th grade, and I think it took until about the end of 7th.
Jeez.
And then 6th grade,
You
I
know,
had this teacher, this math teacher. I won't say his name, but I don't know. He's probably dead now. Who knows? But uh, he was my math teacher in 6th grade, and he wasn't like creepy weird. He just liked to hurt the kids a lot and then try to gaslight us into thinking he didn't. He choked up this kid in my school one time, and then when me and a couple of other people said something about it, he was like, "I didn't do that. You guys are lying." And then there was one time where I was like messing around with one of my friends, and I did something, and I didn't put anything in her hair actually. He just thought I did, and I said I didn't put anything in her hair. And, she backed me up and everything. And was like, I just saw you do it, blah, blah, blah. And the other friend was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, where? Like, where? And
where's the proof? Where
Robinson
is
was
it?
like, okay, Finn, except he said my dead name. He's like, okay, dead name. I'm gonna call, oh my God, what should I call him?
Uh,
Uh,
Tyler.
Tyler. Okay. Robinson was like, I'm gonna call Tyler down to come to come come escort you out of class. I'm like, why? I didn't do anything. He's like, well, you're back talking me. I'm like, okay, but I don't understand why you're cutting away from like my learning time because you think I did something. He's like, well, I saw you do it. I'm like, obviously you didn't because we're both saying that I didn't do anything, and other kids are saying I didn't do anything. So I clearly didn't do anything. Um, and he's just like, I'm gonna call him down, blah blah blah. Well, Tyler came down and he was like, "What's going on?" And I told him everything, and he's like, "Okay, so why are you being kicked out?" I'm like, "I don't know. He's just trying to kick me out for, whatever, you know, you know." And he's like, "Oh, that's really stupid. You can stay in class."
So nice.
This is the same guy that also put me in a 6th grade math class that we only learned like elementary school math in. So I never got to learn like proper like 6th grade math because I only ever learned like elementary school stuff. And the reason behind that was because we weren't smart enough to know it. That's exactly what the math lady said. We weren't smart enough to know it. That's why we were here.
Fun
And then
fact. So I was in special classes, right? This was already established. So one of them for 6th grade was also math, and like everybody else was like in like a legit math class to learn something, even if it was like not the right type of math. I had to learn in a special classroom setting where it was less people, so I could get help better. I wasn't like discouraged to ask. It was really annoying because all I got to learn was subtraction, addition, division, and multiplication for my sixth and seventh grade year. And that's all I learned.
Wow.
And none of it stuck, except for like addition and subtraction, obviously, and a little bit of multiplication. But that's all I had to learn for literally 2 school years. And then
So
I went to eighth grade, and I am basically stupid, blind, because I can't understand.
so
Yet,
for the people watching us on YouTube, right, at home,
hmm,
I go to an alternative school. It's for kids that are falling like way, it's for troubled kids or kids that are falling way behind in high school.
hmm,
So I go to an alternative school. Um I Most of the reason for that is because of my middle school year. Our middle school sucked.
it did
It was
really bad.
awful. So I had to I gave up. I honestly I really gave up doing
Me
anything
too.
because my 8th grade year I had this math teacher. Um and she would always tell us that we would never amount to anything. We would never make it to high school. We would never get anywhere in our lives. You know, we would never be able to go anywhere in life, and we would never be able to, grow up and be human beings. And it was only because our class was just like a little bit rowdy sometimes, but all her classes were. But she told me this a lot, and it was always directed towards me for no reason. But she used to always tell me that I would never amount to anything. The only reason why I'm struggling is because I never paid attention. And just all these like horrible things. And I ended up giving up my 8th grade year because it was one of those things where it's like, she told me I couldn't do it, so I can't do it. And so I just
Which
never.
is not right.
No, it's not. But that was my thought process.
Hmm.
And she's like, because she would always tell me that stuff. And so I just gave up and I never did it and I failed. I failed 8th grade. I should not be in high school, but I am.
Yeah.
And
So big thanks to the reason we're probably even in high school in the first place is because of that thing that was passed when we had Obama, I believe. This is
yeah.
going to sound really political, but it's really not. But like, so there's that whole thing with like no child left behind kind of deal.
yeah.
So where you get pushed along through the grades system, and if you fail a school year, that's fine. You get to keep going. You just have to make it up at some point.
Mhm.
But I've also given up on school at some certain points. So I just kind of went, nope, not gonna do this. I don't understand anything. Nobody's helping me. It's okay.
Exactly.
Which is how our middle school was, and it really kind of sucked
It did. Our middle
quite a
school
bit.
really sucked because like we couldn't, and I hate this so much because there's one teacher in my school who's like, you can't tell me that nobody, wouldn't offer one-on-one support. Nobody offered one-on-one support. Like I am dead serious. Middle school, you could ask a teacher and they would just be like, "Oh, figure it out on your own." Like I
So
never got the opportunity to have one-on-one support from a teacher at middle school or in my high school.
only time I remember having a very nice teacher that was like, I'm willing to help you was my language arts teacher in like sixth and seventh grade because she was awesome. She was very nice to me and understood that I didn't really understand everything, and which was very, very nice. And so I remember her always pulling me aside, noticing that my grades were bad, and going, "Hey, if you ever need like some help, I'm willing to be here and help you." But you know, being so down in a hole that was very bad during then,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask for help. I just
Yeah.
went, "No, I'm gonna do it on my own. I'll try to figure it out."
I so elementary school me was awful. Like a
Yeah, I know.
terrible, terrible human
Sorry.
being. Through middle school, 6th and 7th grade, I kind of got away from that. But then like 7th and 8th, it started kind of spiraling because my teachers started being like, "I'm not gonna help you. You have to figure this out on your own." They started telling me that I wasn't worth anything, that I would never amount to anything, and then my bullying just kind of started to stem again, and I started to just bully people all the time again. And then like it was bad. It got really bad. And like
I
nobody
don't,
knew because like I never told anybody and like nobody ever told anybody else cuz a lot of people were scared of me. Um
honestly, I'm really glad I stayed away during this time because I moved schools during 8th grade year.
it wasn't so the way so I knew you and I was
Hmm.
still like bullying people, honestly. But I never bullied you because you were close to me. You know what I mean? Like
I was chill.
the people that were my friends, I never touched. I protected you guys with my life. Like I would have done anything.
From what I remember, you were like, so somebody was literally like at our lunch table. Context: we took up one of those big fold up tables. We took up two of those,
Yeah.
and sometimes would take up. So these long tables like had like a cut in the middle between two tables because that's how you knew they were big and fold up. So the big fold up tables, we took two halves of that table,
Mhm.
and then sometimes it would overflow, so people had to like take like a friend with them to the next table
Yeah.
over. And so I believe there was one time somebody within this little group about little I say this group of ours was like, "Hey, I there's this kid and they're being really mean to me." And then you're like, "Who? Tell me name, address, everything."
Mhm.
And then you're just like, "We're like, I'll deal with it. It's okay." That's what I remember. But like also I remember in middle school I was like extremely oblivious to literally everything. Somebody could be like, "Oh my god, me and so are dating," and I'll be like, "How long?" And they'll be like, "At least a month now," and I'm like, "Huh?"
Um remember that spot fight for the table?
Yeah, I do aggressively. I remember that
Do
because
you want to tell the
okay,
story?
yeah. So just know that I'm adding more runtime to this
Oh
because I
yeah.
suck at storytelling. Um, so context again. So there's a wall between uh so there's this wall and there's these little pillars that go through this wall. Uh
We also had like designated spots.
yeah. So I always sat beside this person right here. They're named B and they're cool. But anyway, and right across B would always be Finn. And then right next to Finn would always be Kai, I believe. Kai
Um
or somebody else, I believe.
okay, so it was where the pillar was, it was B then you and then I sat across from you and then somebody used to sit on the left of me, but I can't remember who did.
I wanna say I wanna
Because
say
Kai
it was
used to sit
Aaron.
next to you.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right.
And then
Before I
Aaron
started
sat
taking
on
up
the
like one
right
whole
side of
half.
me.
Because I remember like laying around at one point.
Oh my god.
Do you remember
The
that?
person no, the person that used to sit to the left of me was the person we are about to talk about. Because
Oh,
yeah, but then after I split from them,
they
yeah.
quit sitting beside you.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, okay, so it went B, me on this half of the pillar of the chair of the table thing, and then on the other half went across from B was a very strange X of Finn,
Honestly,
and
for
then it went
real.
Finn, and then I think it interchanged between Kai being next to you and me
Mhm.
from memory, I think. So there's that. And so then once they split, you took over that one the pillar
That
spot.
one section.
Yeah, that one freaking section.
I remember I used to lay on that side all the time.
I also remember laying on the other side of that. I remember laying there sometimes just because why not? Anyways, this is irrelevant.
Yeah.
So we would just be chilling, and we were waiting. We were sitting down. We sat down because got my food before everybody, I guess, this time because I think I had PE during this, and so we're waiting. So I see Finn walking down to come sit with us. I'm like, yo, what's the dude? I don't think that's actually what happened.
No, he didn't say anything.
Yeah, just trying to be. Anyway, so the ex of Finn
The X. We're just gonna
like
refer to her as
rushes
the
and
X.
sits down in the spot, and Finn, once they get around, he's like, "Can you move?" That's kind of where I sit, and then you guys just go back and forth, and suddenly, next thing you know, you get to sit down for a hot second. No, wait, no, you didn't get to sit down. They just kept sitting there, and you're just like, if you ain't gonna move, I'm just gonna sit on you.
And I did.
Yeah, you did. And they're just like, yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I'm sitting here. I was here first.
And
But
then they
like when
ended
you're
up
in middle school, nothing means anything to you.
and then
So the
they
rule
ended
of
up getting up,
mhm.
and then they like started yelling at me as I was sitting down and they were standing.
Yeah, like buddy, I don't think you understand that a rule of finders keepers works in this situation because we are middle schoolers. We have designated sitting
For
spots.
real.
If nobody's there to save that spot, it doesn't matter. We're all saving that spot for you, bud.
For real.
Yeah, because we were like a little flock of. Wait, I
We
was about
had
to say a
our own
flock of chickens.
we had our own like group, and it was really cuz like the only reason I think I wouldn't have gotten so mad about it if it wasn't like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, so
There was,
I always sat with you guys, right? And I
yeah,
think the reason I got so mad was because one, I hate change, and
me too.
two, I wouldn't be able to sit anywhere else because nobody else would let me sit with them. You guys were the only ones that I ever hung out with, and you guys were only my ever like my actual friends.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, continue what you were saying.
Also, another fun fact. I'm gonna like add like a little visual here. Uh, so the big table, we all had so instead of it being like a big old group, like a big old family dinner, it wasn't like that. No, we didn't all talk to each other. We all just like sat there. Like we counted ourselves as a big old group, but that's just because we had miniature groups, little
Yeah.
sections for ourselves. Like at the head of the table, which I'll call the one by the wall, was strictly us four, as in. And then there would be like the smallest change of like another ex of Finn's would sit with us. Like, what is with you?
Okay, listen.
How did you get
One
around
of
this
those
one?
relationships I was manipulated into. So,
To be fair, yeah. Touche. So there would be like, so these tables only could fit like four people on both sides. And there was always groups of like two that would sit like across from each other from the
we
other on the
packed
other side.
ourselves all in these tables.
Yeah, and it was freaking horrible until like people started thinning out in like seventh grade, I believe,
Yeah,
because everybody was like finding their own people to talk to.
getting mad at each other.
Yeah, I don't remember getting a part of that beef stuff
Me neither, actually.
because everybody else was having problems, and I'm just like, you're having problems.
Yeah.
I considered myself a leader, but in reality, I was just kind of chilling. I,
Anyways, you didn't talk about the fact that you blew up on said X about
yeah,
it. You didn't get
yeah.
to that point.
So yeah, so they're fighting on the other front of us, and I'm
Like
just like,
right in front of
just
them.
freaking sit down. Just let them sit. Move your booty out, and go.
The fact
We
you
don't
were
want
on
you
my
here.
side.
Yeah, because like you sat there. It's your spot.
For real.
It was literally like designated spots. Like I remember like the whole conversation between us all, like me, you, and B, over the summer when I moved, you were like, you know what, we're gonna add a plaque to this area and make it so you have always have this spot.
Fun
And I
fact: we
remember it
did
was
actually
so
save that.
sweet.
We did actually save that spot too. Nobody ever
Oh my
sat there
god. Aww.
because we had it where there was like a little space.
Aww.
You know, we were saving room for Jesus, except you were Jesus in this case.
You guys for real said, ah, the Last Supper. Except this isn't the Last Supper. And we'll be having more food later.
Yeah, people would be like, "Hey, can I sit there?" And we'd be like, "No, well,
No.
our friends sitting here."
We're imaginary friend because we're all delusional. I'm kidding. Uh, anyways, so I blew up on the person on the X because they were being stupid and not knowing the rule of thumb here, which means
Mm-hmm.
if you have a space you sit at every single day, and these people that sit around here know the space you sit at, and also don't like the person that's trying to get that sitting spot, you're gonna get your booty chewed out for that,
Didn't she
for
end up like?
reals.
Didn't she end up like going to like a table like way across the way because nobody would let
Yeah.
her sit with them?
Yep. If I remember correctly, I think you were like, I think we all started yelling and almost got people like
People
the
were
adults were
looking.
like, "Yo, what's going on over there?"
As soon as we saw people were looking, I'm like, "Hey man, calm it down a little bit."
Yeah,
When you
you're
got
just
people
like,
looking.
hold on, please, shut up, shut up, it's fine. Shut up for a second.
Yeah.
Ugh.
We've been recording for 46 minutes. Do you want to talk about the main story that we started this for?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. So the reason we have lockers in the background. Okay, so this was during the time uh, the Sonic movie trailer came out, first one. So we all got to see that horrid design. So we had a friend, I guess, who
I mean,
was like really, really obsessed with like thinking of ideas, to say the least.
they thought a
And they
lot.
went, yeah, they had a lot of thoughts up in there,
For
and
real.
oh,
They had
so
they had movie scripts on top of their gender crisis constantly.
yep. Anyways, so during this time, our friend here, who I'm gonna call him Liberty. I don't know why the name came up to
Liberty.
my head.
Oh my
Shut
god.
up.
Yeah, because of their okay.
You're gonna have to explain that bit to me where you just might be like, anyways, so Liberty. Liberty, Liberty, Liberty. It's such a fun
Liberty.
name to say. Anyways, so they came up to me and was like, hey, I have like a cool idea of like making a new improved Sonic the Hedgehog movie idea because we all saw that god awful design. And I'm like, yeah, okay, what's it about? Because mind you, I am like knee deep in a fixation over here. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't about Sonic, but my past one was Sonic,
Oof.
and it still is currently. Anyways, so they give me a list of characters that I could quote unquote voice for. As in a list, I mean a verbal list. So they say, so we already have a bunch of people, but here's the people that you can be. And they went, so you can be Amy.
The silence, bruh.
No, because like they're literally just like, you can be Amy. That if that works. I'm like, who's Sonic? And they're like, oh well, I am obviously. And I'm like, okay,
This person thought they were like the god at freaking voice impressions.
yeah. So I mean, I won't lie. I'll give them credit where credit is due. They had a solid Elmo.
Oh yeah.
I'm not lying. They're like they had a solid Elmo.
Oh yeah.
Anyways,
It did get old after a while though, because they did it constantly.
yeah, it did. I just remembered when they brought the Elmo, the
Oh my
Elmo.
god.
that was a
Have you
moment.
ever not wanted to associate with somebody so much?
Yeah, a little. That would have been like if I came to school in a full like Sonic outfit. You know, like I looked
Yeah.
like an elementary schooler.
Mhm.
That's when everybody would probably have stopped associating with me. But now I just wear Sonic shirts underneath my hoodie. It's real. Anyways, so they're like, I'm Sonic because I know a lot about Sonic and I think I would play him right. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Sure you do.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I won't lie, I don't know everything about Sonic, as much as I'd love to say I do. But I know quite a bit. And at the time, I was pulling things out of thin air that I knew
Mhm.
about him.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I was getting so heated because, bro,
So when Kip says they get heated, they actually genuinely get heated.
yeah. So if I'm like really into something and okay, I'm gonna
Bro gets
dox
heated
myself
like
here.
literally. Like will literally get
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah. So if I'm angry, I literally overheat.
And then you get nosebleeds.
Yup. Well, I don't anymore. I got
No, cuz
cauterized.
you got your nose burned.
Yeah, I got my nose acided. That's not actually how that works, but I'm not gonna explain that now. Um, so we are at, this is all at lunch, by the way. So we're all like, me and them are like standing by the trash cans during this because I just threw away my food and was about to return my tray. And they're like, I'm gonna be Sonic because I know a lot about him and I think I'd play him right. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not gonna work.
Wait, this was
Why are
at
you?
lunch. I remember this being in that little corner thing when you
No,
cuz you were putting your stuff away and they like walked up to you. Cuz I was
no, no,
talking
no,
to
no,
you.
no. No. So this,
Oh.
okay, so this part that I'm giving for context was happening during lunch and I just threw away my
Oh,
food.
okay.
And we were at the trash cans.
Okay.
We were by that middle table.
Okay.
That was always in like the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, so they're like, I don't have any male characters you can play. And I'm like, okay.
Then don't ask.
Yeah, then don't ask. And they only gave me one option, which was like the female characters. And they brought up freaking Sally Acorn for no reason. I'm like, what's she doing here?
What's she doing here?
Yeah. And so I'm like, no, that's not gonna fly. If you can give me a solid idea on a role, I'll be fine with that. And so we're finally leaving, and I'm putting my stuff away, finally. And they come up to they came up to me again and was like, "So, have you decided on who you want to be?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to be Sonic." And they're like,
I was
"No,
there because our lockers were
I'm
next to each
Sonic."
other.
Yeah, and I'm like, "No, you're not gonna be Sonic. I believe I know much more than you. I think I would play his character correctly more than you would."
And I'm
And
just kind of standing there watching this
yeah,
happen.
yeah, you're just kind of standing there. Um, and suddenly, next thing you know, we're in like a heated debate.
Yeah! Dude, Kip is like
I don't remember the
screaming.
specifics. Yeah, like people are walking around the halls and they don't see this. I don't know how
I
we
think they
got away
ignored
with
it.
this. I don't know how we got away with this with all the people
I'm pretty
watching
sure
around.
you threw some swear words out there, not even gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I did probably. I was mad, dude.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of standing there watching it. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, I okay, context. I am a noodle boy, okay? I
Yeah.
am noodly.
Mm-hmm.
All my limbs are twigs. And
Yeah.
I take this fellow twig and I shove them against the lockers.
Yeah!
Like aggressively shoved them. And I'm like, no, if I'm going to have to be a part of this, I am taking your role from you.
I think there was a point where I was like, okay, You need to calm down,
Calm
little
down there,
kid.
little guy. Okay,
Because
okay,
I'm a
okay.
lot for context, right? I'm a lot bigger than Kip is, so I could throw him around like a potato sack if I wanted to, but I don't. Um, so I was kind of when it came to that, I think I was the one that like was like, okay, buddy, you need to like move, and I think I like physically moved you, or
You probably did.
I either physically moved you or physically moved Liberty.
That, or you just like held one of us back or something. It
Probably
was
you.
really
You are
dumb.
literally a rabid animal, and that is not even a joke either.
I probably was foaming, dude.
Bro was frothing at the mouth because of that.
Um, and extra context, I'm a genuinely good person.
Yeah, like Kip isn't that violent.
Yeah, I'm not that person anymore.
A switch just flipped in his brain, and he was like, "This seems okay."
Yep. I I just have really strong feelings for certain things that I like, and something snapped there.
Dude,
Because
I
Liberty was on my last nerve there.
Liberty's always on my last nerve, so you know. But
Like, I feel bad for what I did. Don't worry. And I
no,
feel
you
ashamed because it
shouldn't.
coming out of
Honestly,
my mouth again, like publicly, is wrong sounding.
but I kind of stood there and I'm like, oh, maybe I
Yeah,
shouldn't
because
get on your bad side.
I'm not that. Okay.
Twig or not,
Extra
I still fully
context.
believe that you could throw me against a locker if you were
I
mad enough at me.
probably not. I would just start crying now. Because I can't. Okay, when I'm yelling and mad, I can't think. So everything blocks out for what I say in my mind, and all I remember is like stuttering.
I'm pretty
I
sure you
remember
formed pretty good
stuttering during this,
sentences.
probably. I was probably circling around in my words, like looping around with my ideas and everything.
Dude, I didn't know what
And
to do in this moment. I was like genuinely shell shocked watching this argument going down. I'm like, whoa. I for real thought that after you slammed them into the locker, you were about to just start beating the crap out of them.
I thankfully have enough self control.
You barely had self control then. I feel like
I
something overcame you.
I knew in the back of my mind if I laid an actual proper hand on this person, I would get in trouble and I wouldn't hear the end of it. Like, knowing my grandma, she would have not let me live that down. And I'm
Yeah.
thankful that she doesn't know about this story.
Your grandma doesn't let me live the
The
cafeteria
step on
incident
moment,
down.
yeah. And she'll probably never let down
The truck incident, yeah.
the truck story. I oh
We talked about the main story. That was
yeah.
wild. That was a crazy adventure.
Yeah, it was a wild moment.
That was the good. Okay, honestly though, I would count that as more of a good memory than a bad memory because it's more of like a it kind of showcases how much you've grown as a person.
Yeah, it does. And also, at least my personality. Oh, never mind.
Your personality is the exact same.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same, besides that I know when to not do things that I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Like, I still mess up quite a bit with, like, my cues on what I should do or not. But, like, I'm not that bad.
Mhm. Everybody messes up in some places though. We're human. People aren't perfect.
For real.
That was fun. That was a fun episode.
Yeah.
Fun episode. Fun episode. Okay, we about to goob out.
We're about to goob out.
We goobing out.
I'm about to clock out, too. Good lord.
We goobing out, guys. We goobing out.
Goobing out. Goodbye.
Goodbye, goobers.
Goodbye, goobs.